Pick it up again. It's gone.
You did see it accelerate. It didn't disappear in mid off so fast you didn't follow it.
We couldn't follow it.
That terminated. Were the aircraft still there?
Years. I've never seen anything move as quickly as that. It didn't move slowly like an aircraft that you can see disappearing into the night. It just went. It just completely disappeared.
It didn't slow down. It didn't increase, and suddenly it turned to its left, and then it accelerated at a speed I've never seen it go that fast in my life. All it was a streak of light, and that was it. Gone.
And then, in a few seconds, it just took off up northward, and then it went out of sight.
Okay, now when it took off, was that at fairly high speed?
It seemed to be.
Het kwam weer in zicht, verdween en zo ging het 4 keer door. En ineens de 5e keer dat het tevoorschijn kwam, schoot het instant aan met een extreme snelheid weg. Het was niet eens acceleratie.
And when he ran the exposures, he said the object accelerated, took off at high speed.
I've never seen anything move as fast as this thing moved. And disappear and come back as quick as it did.
En het had een snelheid zo ongelooflijk dat het eigenlijk ook in een flits van een moment was het weg.
And as we were watching it, they all disappeared in different directions at an incredible acceleration.
Fast?
Fast, yeah, it just disappeared. Like it was going away so fast that it disappeared into the horizon, sort of thing.
It's just like some speed I just can't describe. It's just unbelievable.
And this thing was on the move when you saw it actually disappear?
When it disappeared, it was stopped.
Et c'est disparu très rapidement. Et pourtant, nous avions l'impression que c'était lent. Mais très rapidement, de 3 à 5 secondes, ce n'était plus qu'un point dans le ciel.
They observed it for a period of time, and it very quickly and silently vanished at high speed.
When I could see it, but it was really moving at a tremendous speed, you know. It was really going like crazy, you know. But to me, it looked like it was searching for something, you know. And then it shot up in the sky and disappeared.
And then this object turned and disappeared out of sight of tremendous speed.
And then, at an incredible rate of speed, it rose and flew out of sight.
When first seen, it accelerated rapidly and vanished from sight in no time at all.
The size, you know, was amazing. And here they're coming down. With speed, I just can't describe. Amazing speed.
Mahalik says one of them stopped, suddenly accelerated, then disappeared.
And then it just went zoom and disappeared at some fantastic speed. And at that moment they knew this wasn't something that they'd seen before.
It just seemed to go away, but it wasn't. Well, it was moving at a fast rate of speed, I guess, for it to be that big and disappear, but it wasn't.
Shortly afterwards, it just accelerated ahead of me. I mean, just extraordinary speed. Straight out ahead of the aircraft, climbing, turn, and then just completely disappeared.
And it was like it went straight away into the distance and as it got smaller, but it just happened so quick. Nothing goes that fast. I don't know of how it could do that.
It went so quickly, just couldn't follow it. It seemed to be an amazing speed, it really was.
What would you say it was?
Well,
it was up in the sky. It moved at incredible speeds. It hovered. It seemed to go away, and there seemed to be light planes.
I can't estimate the speed, but it moved very rapidly. Stopped and sent down a pencil-like beam at our feet. And just as fast as the beam appeared, it just clicked off, disappeared. I didn't see it accelerate or go anywhere, it just disappeared. I realised then what we were dealing with here was an intelligent phenomenon.
So it was like a big light, and it just lit the whole sky up, and then it went straight up from the air and disappeared.
And then it started to travel upwards.
And then that went off at a very fast pace.
Blink of an eye. It was incredible.
It was that quick. And then it would reappear higher up into the sky, real bright again. And it seemed to go...
En het lichtpuntje dat schoot dus instantaan weg. En binnen een halve seconde was het verdwenen. Geen idee hoe hoog het was. Geen idee hoe ver het van ons af was.
And it took off at such a high rate of speed that no one can describe it as if I would have blinked.
When it was ready to leave, it departed at a very high rate of speed, accelerating as it went, and disappeared off into the distance at
speeds that I couldn't even estimate.
And then they just shot off this way.
They just took off like that way.
What was so astonishing is the speed that this thing took off. I mean, it took off so fast that it was like...
The Air Force says it had no...
En toen eigenlijk in alle rust is dat object een paar keer heel snel gegaan en toen heel rustig eigenlijk gewoon uit beeld verdwenen. Dus...
And when we came out, there it was, still up in the sky. And so for another hour or two we watched. And then suddenly it did go. And there was this amazingly incredible speed that the whole craft disappeared to nothing across the bay in a matter of a second.
The craft just shot off to the left from a standing start. It accelerated at an incredible speed, and within about 2 seconds it had completely disappeared.
Now, as it passed over your area, did you notice any change of speed?
No, it was just traveling enormously fast.
And did you watch this until it went out of sight in the distance?
I tried to watch it, but after it, there was some trees in the way, and when it got behind those trees, then I turned and looked, and I never could see it again.
Okay.
And before they got to the object, this thing shot up and disappeared. This went straight up, disappeared instantly.
Dus het ging zo snel dat je dus ook niet ziet van, bijvoorbeeld, is het een massieve structuur waar dit bijvoorbeeld 3 lampen van zijn?
When it took off, it moved at a very rapid pace to where the blinking light just it moved so swiftly that the size or any shape that you saw was definitely, you couldn't tell. It turned into a blur of some kind? Right. Okay.
I know what I saw, and no matter what anyone says, I know that it was something very unusual, and the way it took off at that speed, I doubt very much if there was anything in that day that could take off like that.
Shane. And then the 2 lights went out into one single white light, which then shot off at a speed that I've never seen before, and it wasn't a plane.
I watched this big, gigantic light go out behind our left wingtip, and then as the turn progressed, it disappeared in the distance off to the back at a very high rate of speed. I've flown all its jets.
Then it suddenly shot off quite a pretty fast speed, fast enough that I couldn't keep up with it. Once it disappeared, I stopped.
Right.
And then just all of a sudden it took off. It didn't take it very long. It went out of sight,
Okay.
out over the horizon.
After a while, it moved up, took off at a fantastic speed at least 45 degrees angle, and they just disappeared between the stars.
Then I saw... Didn't have wings or propellers or jets. The rate of acceleration was far too rapid, absolutely no noise. And about then the thing just took off, just gone. As we were driving...
And then at some point, it just took off and went south in a fashion without gaining momentum, but just going straight off with accelerated speed beyond what I was used to seeing.
Now, here we are in the world's fastest aircraft, and this aircraft disappeared on us. It went away so fast. Well,
It was reported that an object in the same spot in the sky had been seen moving at tremendous speeds, I mean impossible speeds by our technological standards, and had disappeared. And your eyewitness report...
And meanwhile, after seeing all this and the thing flying away at an amazing, just a blip light going up, and then it became a star and then it was gone, I'm on the... And many people said it didn't drift away, it just flew away at an incredible speed, disappeared.
And then all of a sudden, from that standing position, it took off at a very high rate of speed.
And it just went all that way so fast, you can't believe it. Did it change in appearance at all when it took off?
That thing went up around. I'm just saying it. Like if I just got a service march, and I flew and jigged on, with choppers and door gunners, who-ish. That thing went up just like a Huey. That other went up. The other right up behind. That thing went up just like a Huey. It got up so far and it leveled off and it just went out.
And then, just as the collision seemed almost inevitable, why the thing reversed and disappeared at an absolutely incredible speed.
Now it's there and now it's gone toward the horizon. I mean, we could still see it, but it was just, God, I've never seen anything move so fast. And
it zoomed across in front of my windscreen and stopped, and then flew off at about a 45-degree angle, very high speed. I said, "What in the world was that?" He said, "Well, now you've seen one."
So I just looked at it, and after a few minutes, it just raised up above me, probably to about 12 feet, turned on its side and went zoom straight up into the air and disappeared almost instantly. And
the light tracked at a high speed and came to a stop, altered direction, and accelerated to a high speed, stopped again.
Contrary to... That's roughly around 2,000 miles an hour, and went out of sight so quickly that it just vanished.
You know, just seeing it like that. But you know it wasn't a plane that low, or something that low like that. It's something I've never seen before. But when it came so fast like that, it just suddenly stopped.
I remember clearly seeing this incredible sight. They were moving very fast, and then they've just stopped. It all lasted a couple of minutes.
And then all of a sudden, when it decided to take off, it went fast enough to where you couldn't count them, and then it just took off.
With that, the object, in a very rapid rate of speed, pulled directly up, straight up, and disappeared from view.
And it never did. It just shot up in the air all of a sudden really fast.
He shoots straight up into the sky, and I mean at an amazing speed, and completely disappears.
There was a light shining down onto the road. When I looked up to see where the light was coming from, I saw this object hovering there. And just as I looked, it shot straight up out of sight, real fast, silently.
And it was over a power station, and about 3 seconds after that, it started moving across the sky real fast, and in about 3 seconds it was gone.
So I was across, I turned around and looked, and it was gone.
It looked like something that huge shouldn't be moving in a straight line at that speed. To my mind, everything was kind of...
It was this huge light, and we stopped and stared, and all of a sudden it started coming towards us across the sky, and it was coming very fast, and there was no sound. And as it got closer, we could see these, it wasn't too far off either. It was like a big light, and it just lit the whole sky up, and then it went straight up in the air and disappeared.
And it was instantly, just that fast, just that fast. It was back, and it was hovering above our vehicle.
Right.
Now,
and about that time, I guess whatever it was, for whatever reason, just took off climbing at about a 45-degree angle and just accelerated and disappeared. And
It seemed to be able to accelerate and disappear out of sight, and then someone would see it over another part of the sky, through an arc of, I suppose, probably 30 degrees away from it.
It was going so fast and it didn't make any noise. The light seemed to be streaming and breaking around it.
It hovered over there for a while, and all of a sudden the lights went out, and in a split second it was a couple miles away.
And it must have been moving pretty fast, because from the time I got out there until the time I finally saw it, which was just a matter of a second, it was quite a ways over. It looked like...
And it did suddenly speed up.
Yeah.
Or give us a turn.
Oh, it had tremendous acceleration.
It didn't break up into any parts or explode or this type of thing.
Whatever it was, climbed at an unbelievable rate of speed until it was totally out of sight.
Right.
Just go straight up in the air.
Okay, and then it just disappeared out of sight.
Right.
Okay, was that a very high-speed climb?
Oh, 3-4 minutes, something like that. And when it took off, did it also travel straight up? Well, almost straight up, and at very high speed.
And it was there for about 5-10 minutes, and then it shot off and disappeared, just went completely.
And then it began to accelerate, and it moved behind some more clouds, came out the other side, and then just left the area at a very high rate of speed. And there.
It spun for just seconds, just like a flowing top slowing down.
Right.
And then it was gone. It disappeared just as fast as it came, and it came in at an extreme fast speed from way south, southwest of me.
And then they say it disappeared just by going right straight up in the air till it disappeared out of sight.
Dus hij maakte een vaart en binnen 1 seconde verdween die.
Oké, dus het was gewoon een enorm object. En opeens was die binnen 1 seconde... weg. Oké, bizar. Hè? En alles was weer normaal en ja, donker en ja, alsof er niets was gebeurd.
Lights that came and went and then suddenly flew across the sky at blinding speed.
It's not like I'm telling you people that I saw any kind of ship. I just saw some strange lights traveling at a high rate of speed, doing some things that I've never seen anything before in my life.
But what do you mean by...
Then all of a sudden it picked up speed and zip, it was gone, just like that. And that was the brief incident, but there was something there that I didn't really understand.
But then that went off, and it just went straight up really fast, just without a sound.
It moved slowly, and then it flew away at a very high speed.
And then this thing, it just took off.
근데 7사단이 북한강을 이렇게 끼고 쫙 이렇게 연결되어 있는데 그까지 날아가는데 한 1초 만에 그냥 날아가버려요.
그러면 그 선생님이 거의 불과 1초도 안 돼서
1초도 안 돼서 날아가버려요.
와.
또 거기서 우리 853GP까지도 날아오는데 1초
GP 쪽으로 또 날아왔어요.
그렇게 몇 번 왔다 갔다 하더라고. 근데 그거를 이제 우리한테 보여주려는 식으로 그렇게 생각하게 돼요. 그런데 나중에는 지그재그로 날아가요. 지그재그로 착 갔다가 섰다가 또 지그재그로 이렇게 갔다가 섰다가.
In a direction faster than anything that they had ever seen.
Nou, niet in ene, maar in een paar seconden was het weg, laat ik zo zeggen. Het was niet zo van, het stijgt heel langzaam op of het vliegt langzaam weg. Nee, het was echt van de versnelling van het geluid.
And then they say it disappeared just by going right straight up in the air till it disappeared out of sight.
Eventually it just seemed to move off. I just watched it go into the distance.
It was so fast when it took off, you know, and it made not a sound.
Well, no, it disappeared.
It suddenly disappeared?
Yeah, it just vanished.
Okay. Just like turning off a light?
Yeah, exactly.
It was very fast. It was moving at quite a speed. And it was the tiniest thing I ever saw in my life. It just was really...
took off. I'd never seen anything disappear so fast in my life. And
Which direction?
It went west.
Okay.
I remember that at one point it's like we just took off at incredible speeds.
Like, I don't know, it took about half a second for it to pass one side of the earth. And it was gone, it disappeared, just fast.
I mean, did it disappear from distance? No, it more or less seemed to just dim the lights and took off. And you didn't see him?
Okay. And when it took off, it moved at a very rapid pace to where the blinking light...
It was something odd about the speed it was moving, the height it was, and the intensity of the light.
It was now hovering, motionless, apparently in full control, just sitting there in the sky. But no sooner did he watch this when it suddenly accelerated at, he says, tremendous speeds, making 90-degree turns without slowing. And it took off to the west.
Well, I don't know that it had disappeared. We could still see it when It was moving that slowly? Yes, sir.
All this occurred in a matter of 15 to 20 seconds. The acceleration was in excess of that of a shooting star. I've never seen such a phenomenon before.
It looked like it was a ways off, but right over, not too far from where we live. I could see a bright light, and it was there for about an hour, and then I looked out later, and it was gone.
When I looked up, I saw this bright object almost immediately overhead, going in the opposite direction with quite fantastic speed.
The object, after passing over the blind, swerved to the southeast and accelerated at a tremendous speed and disappeared within 1 or 2 seconds.
It was one of the most amazing things I think I've ever seen. It was just hovering, and all of a sudden they disappeared, like one at a time.
And then it kept, shining the light on it. And then the thing just disappeared when it went down a little bit, and then it disappeared. Just a big red light. I just can't get over that. It was something like I've never seen or heard before. And what really amazed me was it disappeared just like that.
And this thing continued to turn itself into a cloud, and after it had done so, it flew away at a high rate of speed.
When I looked up again, the object had disappeared completely.
Whether it shot off, whether it just disappeared, I don't know. But that's basically what happened.
I watched it disappear back over the wingtip and back into the 8 o'clock position and accelerate at a very rapid rate.
So I sort of accelerated a bit more and kept going, and all of a sudden it disappeared. Just faded almost to nothing.
Out in the far north of Western Australia.
This was an object that moved at a very fast rate of speed. It saw a
object. The thing went above his plane and just stopped right above his plane.
Crazy maneuver. And off it went, just like an amazing speed, and we lost it.
Just stopped. And then it started to move on again. It didn't appear to have any acceleration at all or anything. It just went from stop to start and with nothing in between, and disappeared both in the right.
And it took off behind us on the right of us and took off towards the Sacramento area. And it just went all that way so fast you can't believe it.
Did it change in appearance at all when it took off at high rate of speed?
Qui fait quoi?
Qui fait le temps, qui disparaît. Mais je veux dire, l'accélération fulgurante. Et je ne pense pas que ça existe encore maintenant. Je veux dire, c'est comme une mouche que j'essayais d'attraper. Un éclair.
Er is niemand die die dingen ziet.
In één keer verschenen ze. Ze kwamen voorbij met hoge snelheid, zonder geluid. En in één keer waren ze ook weer weg.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, end of test.
Het zat echt boven ons en het was ook in de auto verlicht.
Suddenly the object, which had flown with us for a while, veered and then at top speed disappeared, turning through 90 degrees.
I mean, really wet. It didn't have no smoke, no motor, just the wind. It went fast. I've never seen anything go so fast in my life as that thing went.
None of us said a word, and then all of a sudden, we didn't see it lift up or go anywhere. It was just gone. It flashed and it was gone.
And they disappeared just as suddenly as they appeared. They didn't fade out of sight like a plane will do as it's going off in the distance.
Just clicked right off.
How long had it been there before? We had no idea, But when it took off, it just went, well, like lightning. On the same line as it hovered, back of the mountain, and gone.
Eine der Askania-Verfolgerkameras filmte ein merkwürdiges Objekt um die Rakete. Dann ein zweites. Das verschwand in Sekundenschnelle met hohe Geschwindigkeit.
Dus op het moment dat wij dat licht zagen, dat ineens verscheen, 4 keer sputterde als het ware en ineens wegschoot.
Just extraordinary speed. We just saw flying saucer.
Et là, elle est partie à une vitesse extraordinaire.
And it just moved at that kind of rate right over my head.
We couldn't believe what we were seeing. And one of the things that struck me was how fast it had come across from that distance.
It accelerated from 0 to over 2,000 miles an hour before it exited off of the screen.
It went from one part of the sky at least 30 miles in a split second. I zip the camera over and I catch it again.
It's going straight up. Target going straight up. Over.
It was stationary on the screen. And then, in seconds, it moved off at a fantastic rate of speed.
And then it flew off into the clouds, and that was it. Well, there weren't any clouds, just flew off.
Just disappeared from sight.
Yeah.
Okay. Then all of a sudden, it just was gone. I mean, just literally gone.
Just went out like...
You saw that it was actually moving, but the fact was it just went... I mean, it was just gone.
And it seemed to just disappear right behind that because we backed up, and just that quick it was gone. I don't know what happened to it. It's really extraordinary.
We didn't see anything, and then we saw this object jumping up in the sky and doing all kinds of kind of tricks, and it was too fast for an airplane.
And did you actually see it just disappear in the distance?
Yeah, it just went over so far, and then I couldn't see it no further.
Okay.
It's like it either went straight up or something.
My wife was with me, my mother was with me.
Y entre los tres estuvimos observando esa luz, pero se movía muy despacio
we saw this light moving very slowly.
Sí, después
down,
desapareció.
And it disappeared.
Se fue en una fracción de segundo.
In a fraction of a second, it just
se apagó y ya
it just went.
And with that, it lifted up, put the gear back in, and at a very high rate of speed disappeared.
It wasn't like they disappeared and rematerialized or something.
They were visible the whole time, but they would go very, very rapidly. They could make quick turns. They had all sorts of maneuverability that we didn't know anything about at the time.
They disappeared while they were in the sky. But they, I just contributed that to just getting it so fast. But,
okay. Was that disappearance abrupt?
Yes, it seemed to be abrupt. That's a good word for it.
And then he saw something, a brilliant light for maybe 3 or 4 seconds, went down to turn around, came back, and it was gone. And he said it lit up the field.
Like it moved up a little to the left, just going straight up. And there, we didn't see no trace of where it went or how it disappeared, like it just wasn't there. And then we saw that bright, white, flashing light again.
I believe the first shot I took came out empty sky. It was moving so fast. I mean, it would go up like this and come back like this. Come around like that, and just watching it was...
And we watched that thing for as far as we could watch it, and all of a sudden it just disappeared.
I watched it disappear back over the wingtip and back into the 8 o'clock position and accelerate at a very rapid rate.
We zaten natuurlijk met open mond te kijken van wat daar nou aan het gaan was, dat schuin naast de auto. En hoe lang het heeft geduurd, ook geen idee, maar hij was in een flits weg. Dat ging heel snel.
The subject circled about for a half an hour more, and then it took off at a speed way over in excess of 1,000 miles an hour.
And then a few minutes later, they would disappear from one spot and show up somewhere else. I really didn't know what it was.
Strange lights in the night sky, moving at otherworldly speed. The image confirmed on a radar screen.
Pero aquí viene lo importante y curioso, que cuando estábamos observándolo, de repente se desplazó a una velocidad no cuantificable. Y obviamente mucho más extraño todavía porque estaba partido de punto muerto, de punto cero, y se desplaza a una velocidad increíble.
The speed it took off with, I've seen F-16s fly high rates of speed. And this was here and gone from a dead still hover.
It was up high enough to shine direct over the top of that thing. And it was really showing that thing off. Now, I think I asked you before.
As the light had watched the object for about 4 minutes, the object then taken off, almost straight up at a terrific speed.
And right when its headlights got over it, that thing just shot up in the air and it was gone in like a second.
And in seconds almost, they were on the horizon in different directions. Now that's quicker than I've ever seen anything move.
Although I did see movement that was almost identical to this, and then all of a sudden it was gone, but it moved extremely fast and it was maneuverable.
We're down pretty slow.
Okay. Okay, now when it would go shooting across the sky and stop, did that thing come to an abrupt stop?
Yeah.
It was quite a brilliant laser show. And with all the turning, and obviously it tilted on its axes when it decided to disappear.
Dus het was één snelheid. Het was niet iets dat versnelde of trager of langzaam. Het was gewoon puur één snelheid. Maar wel zoiets van, nee jongens, ik ben er en ik ga er. En ik heb er, weet je wel, ik blijf daar gewoon en ik ga lekker door.
Aquí. Se despegó de aquí. Esto quedó iluminado todo. Todo iluminado. Esto parecía cuando se levantó, ya cogió una altura, hizo un cistas y ya desapareció.
As soon as daylight time came up, this thing shot up right through everything and just disappeared more or less.
And then after it had traveled probably half a mile or so, and it was gone, just disappeared right there.
How long it had been there before, we had no idea, But when it took off, it just went, like me. On the same line as it hovered, back of the mountain, and gone.
It was going up, but it looked like it was going really slow. And then I looked away and looked over at the airplane and watched that go up for a few seconds. And then I looked back and the other thing was gone.
Well, what I saw were 2 bright lights. Their movement was something that really caught my attention. Their speed accelerated, and then it slowed down again.
Light come up, and it just took off on an angle about like that. That was it. Absolutely unexplainable. No noise,
No, nothing. This object circled about for a half an hour more, and then it took off at a speed way over in excess of 1,000 miles an hour.
And then it just dwindled. It just took off. No sonic boom. Nothing. It just went.
No. The speed that the craft disappeared at was, and I've heard Joy say this in the past, was so much in excess of anything around that time that could fly at that speed.
And even then.
Exactly, and then Paul said, like, he saw this.
Well, it was just hovering for a while, sort of moving very slowly, and then after about 30 seconds it just went off really fast.
And then all of a sudden it went to the other horizon, and it went as fast as that, like 3 or 4 seconds to get from right over there to right over there.
And as soon as my flashlight beam turned, that thing went whoosh, and it was about 300 yards away. Really, really fast. And he turned his headlights on, and this thing went up vertical, real fast, just a dot.
This lasted for about 2 or 3 minutes. Then the UFO departed very fast and disappeared.
And when they took off going away from you, did they seem to be going very fast? Yes. Faster than a jet? Yes.
And then all of a sudden it started to slowly drift away and then went shooting off into the western sky.
It was huge, but then all of a sudden another bright light just shot off like to the left of it.
Wow.
And how many?
And then it tilted up and took off at speed. He said it was several times the fastest jet speed.
We saw a very bright glow, and it went up straight in the air, spinning round, and then about 10 to 12 seconds later, it went out to side.
And I watched this thing, and suddenly it disappeared. And I thought, well, am I seeing things? I'd had a very grueling flight.
After it got up to about 500 or 600 feet, and this thing just turned on its side, and it became a silver disc, which then took off, and it just gathered speed and went at a hell of a rate.
That's the appearance it was, and within seconds this thing had gone up and became a star. It moved around to the southwest on the horizon and then just disappeared out of sight.
It was so fast that you could barely follow it with your eyes.
Ergens zagen we langs een paal zagen we een raar ding. Dat was dus ergens een vliegtuig, maar het leek er dus helemaal niet op, omdat het stil bleef staan. En toen verdween het heel snel en toen kwam het weer terug.
The object remained motionless, silent, above the house for 5 to 10 minutes before it suddenly and silently accelerated in the blink of an eye out to the horizon, where it stopped in an instant for a few seconds and then disappeared towards the horizon and out of sight.
En toen was het weg. En toen kwam het weer terug. En toen ging het in één keer een hele scherpe bocht nemen. En weer een bocht nemen.
It went straight up, and then it took off vertically straight away and then went away out of sight again. He couldn't believe it.
It was just like you couldn't even snap your finger. It went that rapidly. And when it flew, it left.
Did you actually see them go to that light?
No, not exactly to it, because they'd move it so damn fast.
Yeah.
It was a clear night. But you could still see them moving.
I was sitting behind a church, looking up at the sky at this huge UFO that was over my car. And then just instantly, it just went so fast.
At the end of 5 seconds, they went at approximately 45 degrees straight, up. They exceeded 1,000 miles an hour until they vanished from sight.
I have no idea. I've never seen anything like it since.
It was faster than any plane that I'd ever seen.
Ele disparou com uma velocidade incrível pro firmamento e sumiu no meio das estrelas.
Existem centenas de bilhões de outras galáxias.
It pulled over. It kept me in a direct line right between its headlights. And it occurred to me that something wasn't right here. So it accelerated, it came up after me, and just as it was about maybe 10 or 15 yards away from me, I swerved to the left, and it came shooting right by me where I would have been.
It just went, just gone. And it's the first time I've seen anything like that. It's just amazing.
And having no memory of what had just happened, bringing up the camera, taking the photograph, chasing it, seeing the object, which then rapidly disappeared up into the air.
Zo snel als dit was.
Hij stond stil en hij was ook weg. En je voelde er niks van, niet een schok of een straal of zo, dat het energie nodig had om weg te komen, zou je zeggen.
I've seen a very white, very intensely lit, glimmering white light coming in from the west. And it appeared to almost be walking or stepping across the sky, like projecting itself to the next image, but at an incredible speed.
Jeg så 2 sånne bikk fra sida til sida før objektet plutselig skjøt fart i horisontalplanet og forsvant tilbake.
And as soon as the jets got to the object, it shot straight up and disappeared right in front of me.
Just like it came down, everything was timed perfect. It went up about 20 feet, it tilted at 45 degrees, straight south, and shot off. And within 2 or 3 seconds, it was out of sight.
When it got to the top of the trees, it took off and flew up into the sky, straight as an arrow, and disappeared out of sight, and I couldn't see it anymore.
It came to life, rose up, and took off to the southwest.
Yeah, that's right. It just disappeared as just like a bat out of hell. It got going. It left fast.
It was so fast you couldn't even see it leave. It's like, you ever try to watch a rifle bullet leave a barrel? That's how fast this engine was. So we landed not about.
When they looked up, it kept getting larger and larger and larger. It came down at such a speed that nothing could have stopped. Nothing, but it did. Then it just swayed, like something real light.
And it just was there for about 5 to 7 minutes, and it just seemed to disappear.
The level-headed locals all speak of bright lights which travel very fast, change directions many times, are very silent even though they appear close by, and which disappear almost magically.
Yes. And then it shot straight up, and I watched it as it went up into the sky, and then it got out of sight, it disappeared. And when I got home, my kids had seen it.
Well, yes, a few days after that, we were talking here, and he asked me if I saw that in the sky, and he said he saw it take off, and he said it just shot real fast to the east.
I still can't believe that anything could have moved away that quickly.
The object finally departed by leaving the scene at a terrible speed, bolting straight out into space.
And he tried again, never got even remotely close to it because it shot off at very high speed at a high angle, a 45-degree climb, and disappeared.
Der gik det sådan ligesom et lille hop i luften, og så var det hele væk. Ingen lyd. Og fuldstændig mørkt.
It wasn't something that was a flash that I only saw for a second. Could it have been? I know what I saw, and I get very upset, and I was wondering why they won't find out what it was.
They were out in front of us and accelerating, literally at lightning speed, and a dot in the distance, maybe several miles away from you.
Now, as it was moving, did it seem to be moving at a great rate of speed?
When I saw it, when I was coming home, it did. But when we were standing and watching it, it seemed to be more or less hovering.
I watched it on its vertical takeoff, and then I kind of did something else and looked back up, and it turns, and gone south. So I would guess 2 hours, not all in the same place, but moving around a little, and all of a sudden it just looked like it went down out of sight behind a hill, and very fast, almost like a shooting star.
Suddenly, without giving me time to do anything, at incredible speed, the object came towards me, ending up approximately 5 meters away from where I was.
Well, yes, a few days after that, we were talking here, and he asked me if I saw that in the sky, and he said he saw it take off, and he said it just shot real fast to the east.
It was a triangle. It had 3 lights that were round, and it kind of, swerved, and it shot down the sky until it disappeared.
Mijn idee ging hij dus linksaf. Van de rechterkant van de auto naar de linkerkant. Maar je kon hem niet meer zien, want hij was al helemaal weg.
Ja.
Dus dat ging heel snel, maar dat was heel verbazend dat we dat zagen.
Did this go straight up?
Straight up, and then it disappeared.
Until it just went out of sight?
Instantaneamente acelerou de 6 milhas
até 20 e poucas milhas e saindo do alcance do radar da aeronave.
As we pulled nose onto the object, within about a half mile of it, it rapidly accelerated in front of us and disappeared.
It was hovering for a bit and came in front of the car and hovered. Then all of a sudden it shot off.
I know it was traveling at speeds I've never seen before.
It just went from our speed, which is about Mach 9.4, to about triple that. I mean, instantly, no hesitation, no noise, no interference, no thrust.
Just no vapor trails, no nothing. It just shot and vanished.
The guard said that the UFO had vanished. Basically, just took off at high speed. Was no longer there.
Oh, between 5 and 5:30 in the afternoon. It was dark already, and that's why I couldn't see clear. If it was light, it
I mean, the speed from standing still to, you know, to where it finally ended up. Right. Man, it was just too quick. In fact.
And then he said, it suddenly and silently just went away up to a star size and then disappeared.
And at that time, it sped off at a high rate of speed, heading away from the airbase.
So, when they started shooting, it disappeared immediately without a trace. Nothing at all.
Now, it sits out there and then almost instantaneously disappears. So, everybody's excited about what they're seeing and everything, and about this time somebody yells, "It's back."
They climbed at terrific speed and disappeared. Here's a quote from Major Scarborough. These discs were real. They flew at incredible speed. Another case.
And about that time, I told my partner, hey, turn around, take a look at that. And the thing just ran off and left us. It accelerated and ran off and left us.
And then when it disappeared, it just streaked through the clouds with such energy that it broke a big blue hole in the overcast.
I was just bewildered how something could appear and disappear in the thin air practically. Well, I honestly don't know.
He said he did so just in time to see a very shiny and silvery-looking cigar-shaped object high in the air above, which seemed for a split second to just hang, and all of an instant take off at a terrific rate of speed.
Tipo relâmpago. Relâmpago em questão de velocidade.
Environ de 45 degrés, il est parti. Ça fait comme un flash. La vitesse de la lumière, si on peut dire.
Ja, dit moet het ongeveer geweest zijn, want dit is het beeld wat ik had. Ik kwam dus aan en in deze richting, boven die bomenrand, daar zag ik echt 3 knalwitte lichten in een driehoek. En in één keer vloog het met flinke snelheid richting Soest.
Obviously, that rectangular shape was a spaceship of some kind. There were no markings on it except at the top. There were little arches of like blue light coming out. Obviously, windows were around the triangular shape that I could see because it was so low. All of a sudden, it went boom to the right, and it just disappeared. I was speechless.
And then when I was looking at it, I saw it's like a silver light, and like that kind of spaceship you showed me, just coming out, just for an instant, and then it just disappeared, like just like that.
So it was really turning what to our naked eye visually looked to be instantaneously
dynamic. I was under this triangular craft for a few minutes, and then it rapidly ascended to commercial jet level in seconds, displaying 0 kinetic disturbance, sound, or wind displacement.
I moved between the Interior Communications Center, ICC-1, and the bridge wing, correlating the sensor picture with visual observations. What I observed and what our crew recorded was not consistent with conventional aircraft. A self-luminous, tic-tac shaped object emerged from the ocean before linking up with 3 other similar objects. The 4 then disappeared simultaneously with a high synchronized, near instantaneous acceleration.
There's never been an aircraft, to my knowledge, today that can do what that did.